Welcome to Sleepyheadstories channel, from where you listen interesting and mind-relaxing stories with music. This is a story of Oliver Bennett, a quiet, thoughtful man with a passion for nature. In his mid-30s, Oliver Bennett had always found solace in the quiet corners of nature. Oliver Bennett had always found solace in the quiet corners of nature. The world around him moved quickly, cars honking, people rushing, but he, for one, had never felt the need to hurry. He lived in a small cottage on the outskirts of a sleepy village, nestled between a river and a vast stretch of forest. It was here, among the whispering trees and babbling brooks, that he felt most alive. One afternoon in early autumn, when the air was crisp and the leaves were painted in hues of gold and amber, Oliver decided to take a walk through the forest. His long dark coat swayed gently with each step, and the soles of his boots crunched against the thick carpet of fallen leaves. The sun filtered through the canopy of trees above, casting soft beams of light onto the moss-covered ground. It was on this walk that he stumbled upon something unusual. Near the edge of the forest, where the trees parted to reveal a small clearing, a large, smooth stone sat at the center. Its surface shimmered as though it had been polished by the hands of time. Oliver, always curious, approached it with a sense of wonder. He crouched down to examine the stone more closely. As his fingers brushed the surface, a faint humming sound seemed to rise from deep within the stone. "Well, that's odd," he muttered to himself, standing up slowly. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, as if responding to his touch, the air around the stone seemed to shift. The wind picked up, rustling the trees and sending a chill down Oliver's spine. He took a cautious step back, feeling as though he had disrupted something ancient. Just then, a voice broke the silence. It was soft at first, like a distant whisper on the wind, but as Oliver strained to listen, "Do you hear it, Oliver?" Clearer. He froze. The voice was familiar, but not in a way he could quite place. It was gentle, soothing, almost like the voice of the forest itself. "Who's there?" Oliver called out, looking around the clearing, but he saw no one. "I am the voice of the wind, the keeper of the trees," the voice responded. "I've waited for you." Oliver's heart skipped a beat. He had always felt a connection to the forest, but this was different. He had never heard the wind speak before. "The forest?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," the wind replied, "and more. The stone you touched is a gateway, a reminder that nature and humanity are intertwined. You, Oliver, are part of something much larger than you realize." Oliver stood there, rooted to the spot, as the wind swirled around him, caressing his face and ruffling his hair. It was as though the entire forest was breathing in unison, alive with a quiet energy that he had never fully understood until now. "Why me?" he asked, his voice thick with awe. "What am I supposed to do?" "You are the listener," the wind answered, "the one who can hear the quiet whispers of the earth. Your role is not to change the world, but to understand it, to share its stories and its secrets. The forest has much to teach if you're willing to listen." A peaceful stillness washed over him as the voice faded. Oliver closed his eyes, taking a deep breath, letting the sounds of the forest settle in his soul. He felt a deep sense of calm, as though the wind had cleared the clutter in his mind. When he opened his eyes again, the stone no longer shimmered. It looked like just an ordinary stone now, its surface rough and weathered by time. But Oliver knew better. He understood now that there was more to the world than met the eye. The beauty of nature wasn't just in what could be seen. It was in the unseen, the quiet moments between breaths, the gentle rustling of leaves, the soft murmur of the river as it flowed through the valley. For the next few hours, Oliver wandered deeper into the forest, feeling more connected to the land than ever before. He stopped by the river to sit on a large rock and watch the water flow over smooth stones, its rhythm lulling him into a peaceful trance. He listened to the birds calling to each other, the squirrels scampering through the trees, and the wind as it whispered its ancient secrets. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky with shades of pink and lavender, Oliver made his way back home. The cottage, a cozy haven tucked away in the woods, welcomed him with its warm glow. He hung his coat by the door, his heart still filled with the peaceful whispers of the forest. That evening, as he sat by the fire with a cup of tea, Oliver thought about the message from the wind. He realized that his purpose wasn't to conquer the world or make a name for himself. It was much simpler than that. His purpose was to listen, to be present, and to share the quiet beauty of the world with others. He smiled to himself, content. The world could be loud and chaotic, but here, in the stillness of the forest, he had found his peace, and that was enough.